Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How's everybody doing? Thanks for joining me this fine time of day. What have you? Just want to make sure I get audio here, the sound check and everything. Make sure everything's going smoothly. You never know. All right. Let me see. Come on. All right. Sounds good. Ryan West, thanks for checking. Thanks everybody. Speaking of which, thanks Ryan for opening the doors yet again. Much appreciated. Hoos, thanks. Good to see ya. A little roll call action. I should probably get rid of that video so in case I flip over it doesn't create disaster. Wayne, morning. Shanbots, morning. Grumpy, good to see ya. Gabe, good to see ya. Appreciated that last episode. Still listening to the Burning Wheel. If you haven't listened to Analytic Dice as a podcast, check it out. People of the Good Earth. Morning, Harrigan. Mr. White, good to see ya. May Governor Melanin. Deal, good to see ya. Tad. California. Victor, morning. Tim, getting ready for Forge Midwest. May you and Willow have a successful con. All right, thanks. William, good to see you. Morning. Stefan. Fabulous. Michael, good to see you. Morning. Day 2. Oh, wow. I mean, I had to work. Morning. Morning, Jim. Yeah, there is a lag. There's latency. That's what latency. So there's 3 latency settings I can set to a video, and I think I have it set to the quickest, which sacrifices a little of the video quality, I think. But to your point, Arrogant. Nicky Knack, you knew. Please don't tell me I gotta say that every time I see you, Nick. How you doing? Englishman living in Spain? Wow. Thank you for joining. I don't think we have a single Spaniard or resident of Spain ever. So thanks for joining. Much appreciated. If this is your first time saying hi. I don't know if it's the first time you've seen this or tuned in. But welcome. Mike, good to see ya. Chat and subscriber only mode. Yeah, I put that on there. I figured why not? You know, get subscribe. You want to unsubscribe? You can unsubscribe. Test Trekkie. Just pushing buttons, I guess, Mike. Test Trekkie, morning. Joe, morning. Yeah, Australian election is over, and I'm very, 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 very Drubic. Elections in Canada, too, I think. Question of the day, who's going to Forge? Well, that should be, right? So if this is your first time tuning into the stream, I'm Sean. I was part of a podcast for a few years, and some of the individuals that are in the chat were listeners of that show, became interacting, wrote in, called, and participated, and a community was formed. And that community still lives on our Discord server, but I've tried to not keep it as the podcast, if you will, as Gaming and BS. It's still out there. All the episodes, if you want to look it up, it's out there in your favorite podcatcher of choice. So for Brett and Sean, it's the BS, a double entendre, if you will, and did that for a while, and then obviously created a community, and some really good friends in the chat to this day. Met them in person, gamed with them online, through gaming in-person gaming conventions as well as our virtual gaming convention. Go figure, like how apropos with the shirt. And I've streamed for quite some time. 10 people show up, that's fantastic. And in the earlier days, I would have a question of the day or question of the stream, and then go into print news and crowdfunding news. And still some of that in the end of the stream. It used to be 2 hours. I'm trying to kind of keep that a little bit lower. So it's very, very much interactive. You could certainly lurk and listen, and that's fine, and that's cool. And some people do just that. But I will also say, when people join our Discord or even join the chat, it's important to know kind of what my philosophy is, and that probably is, I wouldn't say trickled down, because that's not the case, but many of the folks in the chat may either agree or disagree, but they understand kind of my overall philosophy, which is we have opinions about role-playing games, how to play them, what games are good, what games you appreciate, the mechanics that you appreciate, the mechanics that you can't stand. But yucking other people's yum outright is not the way to go, right? So if you're here to be like D&D 5e sucks and anybody that's playing it is dumb, is not acceptable. So I have a mantra called, I say, be a positive force in the tabletop RPG hobby. I'm not always that guy. So I hope that the chat and some of you hold me to that standard. It's not always easy. So again, not to confuse matters, but you don't have to like insert game here. You don't have to like, I don't know, whatever. Usually it's a game or edition. And that's all right, right? And if you join our Discord, there's dynamics amongst people. It's probably, I won't say the most diverse Discord community, but just to give you some context around that, when pandemic came around after I think in 2021 was the first online game convention. Yes, it was, for BSRCon. And we had probably, I don't know, I know we had over 50 events, maybe close to, it might have been close to 80 events, 60, I don't know, somewhere between 50 and 80. It's a pretty wide range. And I would say that there were probably 3 game systems that were duplicated out of those 80. Otherwise, they were all different. Like for like 50, like 60 of those games, none were the same system. So I think for the most part, not to go on this diatribe for too much longer, but as newer people kind of come across the stream and want to like, what is this all about? I just want to put that out there. Where was I going to go with this? Oh, I think there's a lot of game masters that are, many of the people in the chat are game masters. And I think because Brett and I used to talk about game mastering all the time and honing your craft and talking about different methods and things to consider when you game master. And I think much of the chat has played some D&D derivative of some kind. Some of us are still continuing to play 5th edition, but many of us come together because, we got a home group. I run 5th edition, but I want to explore other games. The home group may not be as open to doing that. So they come on the Discord, talk about other stuff, and sometimes participate in each other's games that aren't 5th edition. So this is not a D&D 5th edition stream or channel necessarily, but it's hard to, get away from the 300-pound gorilla. And there you go. I'm going to wrap it up there. So there you go. Morning, Flint. Good to see you. Shanbot's going to Forge. Nice. Oh, Invictor says, in addition to watching, you can also like the stream if you so desire. Nubis, good to see you. Yeah, the Will Wheaton mantra. Kinda. Don't be a dick. I didn't really like that. I don't know. Will's heart's in the right place, but nobody's perfect all the time, but everybody can try to be polite all the time. Yeah, that's kind of what it is. Like, I've been a lurker for a few months. Okay. So I apologize, Nick, but nonetheless, there might be somebody that is lurking that doesn't know us. I usually catch up on Sunday due to the conflicting times of English football games, soccer. Go Wrexham. No, I don't know. Are you a Wrexham fan? Michael, good to see you. Morning. First BS count was January 2022. Oh, I missed. Oh, okay. Good to know. I suppose, right? Fourth was 25, so. Thanks, Jim, for letting me know when I ran my first con. Different lighting. I got this new lamp. Actually, my wife bought it for me. We've been going to thrift stores. An experience, I shall say, here in the U.S. Thrift stores, antique stores, whatever they're called. Just kind of, it's not usually my thing. It's not really what I want to do. And sometimes I go in there and I'm like, well, somebody's going to treasure some of this, right? Some people will say one person's junk is another person's treasure, if you will. So I want to put in a bookshelf on this entire wall in dark academia. So if you don't know what that is, Google it. And it's a thematic kind of style, if you will. That could be an aesthetic of a room. It could be how you dress. It's kind of old, right? Think Sherlock Holmes, kind of got crown molding on the shelf and stuff like that. It's very dark, obviously, because of so I want to do that on this wall. I want to do it on this other wall, but it's not going to work. And so with this lamp, we saw it and I'm like, oh, that would look really freaking cool if I get my bookshelf done, and think like all that, dark, leather chairs and, a rug, a decorative rug. Like you guys know. Yes, the lights are more flattering. Thanks, Stefan. Sean's going to pop some tags. Not only got $20 in his pocket. Yeah. Academic goth? Yeah, pretty much. It is, yeah. But I'm not a goth guy. I do love the look. And there's a video of a woman. I brought this up on stream before. She is, I believe, in Norway. And she is a gamer nerd and a YouTuber. And she's done a couple pretty good, cool videos. As a matter of fact, what's his name from Mythbusters had her on his YouTube channel. So she's not like nobody. And she redecorated a room from like a white drywall, very plain blinds in the window, no covering, for her significant other, and turned it into something really cool. Sean's looking for other goggles too. Yeah, indeed. You should wear a smoking jacket, cravat, and a smoking pipe. Wax that mustache. Nick, I could tell you and I are going to get along just fine. John Caldwell, I thought you meant the manga at first. Meant the manga? No, I don't know. No. Let's talk about RPGs. Some people are like, why is this guy talking about all this other stuff? I just had it. I don't have a topic, but there was a couple things that came to me at like the 11th hour, almost quite literally. And I wanted to, it's an open discussion more or less today, but to spur open discussion, I figured I'd give you guys something to latch onto. So, I'm interested to know, so we can talk about anything. I'm good with that. But I'm interested to know, like, what kind of prized RPG possession do you have? And it doesn't necessarily mean like you've played it. It doesn't necessarily mean you've read it, although I would hope you've done both. Maybe it's like the design or the aesthetic of it. It's kind of unique. It's something that you bought and you got it and you're like, wow. It could be something used and very old. It could have been something that you've owned since getting into tabletop RPGs. And if you're like me, you were a young kid and you've had that for quite some time. I'm just interested because there's so much out there, and I think we get up, some of us that have many of these things, we kind of look and we go, oh, that thing is so cool. I really wish I could play that, or I really need to play that. Could be the aesthetic, it could be the layout, it could be the cover, it could be the art, it could be anything, right? I'm just interested to know, and you might, like some of us may have like, do we have to limit it to like 50, like less than 20 things, Sean? So, I mean, and it doesn't require a lot of thought. Just look over your shoulder and go, oh yeah, that would be kind of cool. I've always appreciated the artist behind that, the creator, the artist, the creator, right? I was just, and I think it came to me when I was like walking by and I looked and saw the spine of the Dark of Hot Springs Island, and I haven't run it, and I have it and I own it. It's pretty cool. I know a lot of people have talked about it. That's one of mine, I think, that I have an appreciation for. Yeah, amongst other things, right? You should put some dice in a come on, I gotta slow down this chat a little bit. You should put some dice in a specimen jar on your desk. Well, I'm gonna tap you guys for some ideas because I know you guys will be full of them. That's already starting, like Shanbot's kicking it off. Wayne says, hey, Wayne, it's good to see another Wayne. Wayne C. Now I got a Wayne C in there. I got to make sure I specify the right Wayne. Just getting into Dead Belt RPG basic card layout for Derelicts. The Visual Sin, the books are cool and they have campaign modules. Interesting. I don't know if I've heard that one. Sky Realms of Jorun. Grumpy Corn. Oh man, my wife and I got wedding dice. That's my number one possession in terms of books. I have a signed copy of Braunstein from David Wesley. Oh, that's pretty cool. Do you have it, Grumpy, in like a curio of some kind? A prominent display. It's the only light in the entire room, and it just shines on that. Like a Indiana Jones treasure. Mike says, I have notes from a Dark Heresy campaign that I ran for many years, and we still talk about it to this day. This is fantastic stuff, guys. This is stuff. Like, this is cool. Like, notes from a Dark Heresy campaign from many years ago. So it's just interesting to hear, like, this is my prize. Like, you think, wow, it's probably this book that somebody put out or whatever. That's fantastic. Pretty happy with my cool WAG Star Wars Pirates and Privateers. Looked for it for years, and my wife found a great copy for cheap on eBay. Very nice. Gabe says the Peter Fenlon non-canonical map of Middle Earth from Ice Middle Earth role-playing, dry matted and hung prominently framed on my wall. That's fantastic. Especially if it's matted and done right. Like I got one behind me. It's just Galarian from Pathfinder from like... God, I think it was from a map book or might have been from a Dragon magazine. I can't remember. It's just like stuck in a frame. It's like a Spencer Gifts poster. Remember, go to Spencer Gifts, get a poster, and then get a poster frame. And it was like the poster frame has like the plastics, and it's just two pieces of plexiglass. It's not even plexiglass. It's like, I guess it is, right? Plastic smashed together, like everything on the walls like that. Gabe's doing it upright. Joe says a copy of Advanced Hero Quest and a leather-bound Vampire the Masquerade 20th Anniversary Edition. Booyah. Willow's Pope LARP Conclave, which is new, right? So Tim, that's but many years in the making, is my understanding. Very cool. Most problematic, Tecamel OG boxed set. Well, I mean, is it uncouth for me to say, well, at least the guy's dead? I mean, he's not profiting off of his work. Oh, man. Victor says, I have both Moldvay D&D boxes along with their dice and crayons still in their little plastic bags. That's fantastic. I would love to see the shape of that box, right? Because all those boxes used to get caved in and like the corners would be raised, and then like it's because we'd stack stuff on them. At least one knucklehead would do that. Jim says, my signed copy of Swords and Wizardry is probably my favorite and most used RPG book. The best RPG product I own, Ultraviolet Grasslands 2E or Lamentations of the Flame Princess, a true relation of the Great Virginia Disastrum, 1633 deluxe set. That would be a great RPG charade topic. Like that's... My cousin made up one. It was the Thursday night edition of Monday Night Football. And you had to guess that as a TV show. I think that would be a great one for if you had a RPG themed one. Ryan West, Outcast Silver Raiders. What? And Shadowdark are my favorite books aesthetically. Ryan, do you have the limited edition Shadowdark? That's the one I wish I would have kind of nabbed. Mike says, soon I am going to wear a tweed blazer and slacks to attend these streams. I think we should all wool vest, right? I think we got something going on here. Test continues. Oh, and a signed copy of Pirate Berg from Limithron. Very nice. Tad, glad I got a hardback copy of Reach of the Roach God, even though I haven't run it yet. Yeah. Oh boy, here we go. I've been waiting for Harrigan. The Judge Dredd box set from the 80s, the James Bond RPG, Underground, the original WEG first Star Wars books. I have WEG the first. So Gabe and I forgot to mention this to Gabe because Gabe and I were talking one night last week, and we're just kind of rapping. And I forgot to mention, so Gabe's like, some of those books are old and everything. I have my original Star Wars WEG book, and I never played it as a kid. It's crazy. I don't know why. Jeff had Star Wars figures all over. My buddy Jeff, who's my gaming buddy. We never played WEG Star Wars, and it wasn't until I went to a convention, God, 2010 or something, that I played my first WEG, and it wasn't very memorable. But I did buy, and some of you might have known, that Fantasy Flight Games re-released WEG in a slipcase, like the core rulebook and then the supplement. So, and I picked up one. So now I have 2 copies of the core book, and they did a pretty good job. I mean, I don't even know if you could tell it was re-released, other than looking at the printing page. Mike, another thing I have is I look around, or my first set of dice I got when I was 11 and just got into RPGs. Mike, I have mine right here. Old Blue. Right here. Have them on my desk. That's a good one. Crayons and everything. My first one's all the chips on the D20 because they're like the soft plastic. It's probably one of the smallest D20s I've owned. Nick says, I still have plastic boxes of Car Wars. Oh, my God. From when I was 10 years old, 43 years ago. I found mine. And I had some of the chits and the maps in like Ziploc bags because they wouldn't fit. Like you'd get whatever it came in, usually those plastic things. They wouldn't always fold back in. Or it'd be from a supplement. And you'd chop it up because you had to use them. And there was no way to keep them. Some of them did come in Ziploc, I think. Oh, Car Wars. I'd like to run Gaslands at GameholeCon, so we'll see. Wayne C says the best visual design books I have seen in our free RPG is the Genesis Rebirth Edition. They have released. What is that? DALL. The PDF books free online and have trailer videos. Very dark RPG. We featured that on Gaming and BS, and I agree. Their art and aesthetic are like top notch, and they were always free, which is crazy. I heard they're no longer around anymore, but Beyond the Wall, all books, UVG set, both editions. The Dark of Hot Springs Island, the black one, that's the one I have, 2 Nubis, with all the goodies. Nothing rare, but my favorites. Yeah. I don't think I have anything super rare either that I'm thinking about it. Maybe like a limited edition cover, maybe a Kickstarter cover of something. Like mine's the Moria book from Free League. I got the limited edition, Kickstarter only version, but nothing too crazy. I don't have anything like in my. I don't think I have anything on the shelf that's like soup. This thing's worth like $300. Although that's not necessarily true. I have this one. I think, aside from like, I don't know, like Tolus, like the original Tolus, which isn't like it's not appreciated as far as money and value goes. It's just expensive because it's a big, thick book. But I think this is the one that is probably worth the most on the market if I put it up on eBay. And that's Knights of the Old Republic Saga Edition. Like, I don't think you can find this thing for less than $250. And I'm pretty sure I bought it for like 30. And crazy enough, I have my name in it, which is pretty freaking cool. And I think the reason this is so expensive is because they don't delve into, I don't know about WEG. Gabe might be able to help me out. Gabe Dibbing in the chat might know because he's played WEG quite a bit. I don't know if any of the WEG universe went into the Old Republic. And this, I think, was one of the first. And I don't think they do it with any of the Fantasy Flight games. So this talks about, the Jedi Civil War and some of those things. And so Jeff has like 3 copies of this thing. My buddy Jeff. I'm like, no. So that's probably the thing that is, I guess, on my rarity list. I do have the limited edition. Who says all my OG Hearn stuff, cream paper and brown ink. Yeah, good days. Dren, morning. Good to see ya. Jason, good morning. Didn't miss anything. It's an open discussion, but I'm so we could talk about anything. And one thing I was going to ask was like, what's bugging you about tabletop role-playing games? It may be a can of worms, but I'm interested to know like what you feel is your prized RPG possession. And it could be anything. We've got people talking about notes from years ago about a campaign they ran, talk about rare books. It could be, dice that you and your wife were given for a wedding gift. It could be anything, right? It doesn't have to be monetarily valuable. So I'm interested. Shambot says, I have an old binder full of almost all the old WEG Star Wars characters that I have run over the years. Those sheets are very broken in. I love them and still use them to this day as NPCs in games. That's fantastic. See, this is kind of cool stuff, right? Reading A, The Handler's Guide for Delta Green, The Tome of Adventure Design, and the Cult Divinity Screams and Whispers GM Guide. Delta Green. I gotta get a Handler's Guide with a different cover. I'm gonna get my buddy Jeff to do that. I can't with that cover. I love Delta Green. I can't with that cover. Dennis, you do some great artwork. The art's not actually bad. It's just not. I don't want a Cardassian on the front of my Delta Green book. Anyways, WEG Star Wars is still my favorite version of Star Wars TTRPGs. Probably still one of my favorite systems. It feels cinematic. It seems to work great for the setting, says Ryan. Yeah. Saltlandia. Best product is simply my 4-panel GM screen that you slip 8.5 by 11 pages into for both the external and internal sides. Perfect for any in-person game. It is fantastic. I have one. I've used it. If I'm running like forget about it, I put in Mafia themed artwork on the outside. And I think that Mafia artwork that's that I found was done by Carl Kiesler, who has a reputation in the Savage Worlds design space, if you will, specifically graphics and that nature. Yeah, that's a good one, Sawhart. So Kevin is a GM screen guy. Jason said I found a bunch of Star Wars figures from the '90s when they started the prequels up. My son got them for Christmas this year. Everything but Slave Leia. Who continues, or my mint copy of Campaign for North Africa by SPI. White Whale for sure. I have the Star Wars boxed combat game. I think that still might have chits that haven't. If it has chits, I never broke them out because I never played it. Mike says, I find great deals on game books at half-price books or other used booksellers. Like in ours, because we have so many gamers in the area, I think it just gets picked over. You know, it's, you look at it, you're like, I don't want that. Some probably you could find some decent stuff. Reading Aid says, just remembered. First Delta Green Pagan Publishing Edition I got from Noble Knight Games. Surprisingly, it was affordable. When I opened it, it was signed by Detwiller and Glancy. That's fantastic. How great is it to pick up a secondhand copy of a game and there's old character sheets in it? Yeah. Jim says, I do also like my binders full of old maps and notes. Yeah. Yep. Tyler, hey, Tyler, good to see you. Probably the 1E AD&D DMG that I got when I was 12. My favorite D&D book ever. Also the folder of my PCs from back then. It's funny you bring that up, Tyler. Because as you bring these things up, I'm like, I have that too. So when I went to high school, my first year of high school back in the day, they used to give us a laminated folder, glossy folder, and it would say the name of the. I grew up in a village. Literally, it's called a village, and it would say village of the name of it, and then the mascot. And you could believe, you guys could probably find me. I don't care. It's not like I don't have enough of myself out there anyway. But our mascot was the demons. Yeah, the demons. Whole nother ball game during the 80s, let me tell you. And you'd flip it open, it would have all kind of the school, attendance policy and very fine print kind of printed all over. And then on the left hand fold, there would be like semester 1, and it would say like time, class, teacher or something like that. And then on the other fold, on the other side, would be the same table, I believe. And I still have that. And I used that for all my character sheets and all my maps. Hold on a second. This thing. Show and tell today here on the stream. Here it is right here. This thing. And here's all on the back. It has, so just to give you some clue on what this says on the back, dances. Dances may begin at 8 p.m. and the entrance doors will close 1.5 hours after the dance starts. There's one for withdrawal and transfers, work permits, guidance, lost and found. Like, so I had, and it's like, look at this thing. I had this when did I start freshman year? 14? And so here's the inside. And I have my freshman school schedule on this side here. And I do have character sheets in here. And I think, so I've used it over the years. Here's a Star Trek character sheet, but this is from 2D20 from a game. So I've used this folder for game sheets and stuff over the years. And I don't have, I'll tell you, this is old. These hex sheets, I've got hex sheets in here. And I know they've never left this folder. They just always have been in there. Like, well, that's great, Sean. They're hex sheets, but they're blank. Well, yeah, still. I'm trying to see if I have like an old character sheet in here that I used. I might have went on a purge and just like haloopsed them, right? Shadows over Long Harbor. This was the game I ran at Gamehole Con for Forbidden Lands one shot. So I took this and put that, but no character sheets in here. So I might have taken them out and tossed them, or I put them in a different folder. Closed camp, like this is the gaming folder. I didn't even write all over it. You'd think I would have put like Van Halen and Rat and like rock logos all over this thing, but I didn't. Anyways, somebody got me in on that one. Tyler did. Sean, you've got to get a job at Half Price Books so you get first dibs on gaming stuff. Well, that might be one reason to get a job at Half Price Books. Michael says, I have a copy of the first print run in 1980 Deities and Demigods with the Cthulhu and Melabonian, I guess, right? Mythos material, and it's stamped with its time in the Hawaii Public Library system. Oh, that's fantastic. Half price is great, but you got to be lucky. Jeff, good to see you. I have my RAFM minis mail ordered in 1983. They sold Citadel and Ralpartha in Canada. And those are real lead, right? If I'm not mistaken. Like those things, like you get a little miniature and it weighs like half a pound. I can't believe I didn't finish my coffee before I streamed. As a book I like, Burning Wheel Gold, revised edition, says Wayne. Like to read it, Wayne C. Well made, feels good in hands of great tips to improve play, but nobody wants to play. Also have the Burning Wheel Codex book. Well, the Analytic Dice guys just gave Burning Wheel a spin, and it sounded like they kind of appreciate it for what it's worth. What's this guy doing? Who's this guy? Hish. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you, man. Coming from a ways away. Wags and Hish plays the games I love. Hish, I want to be in Hish's games. Wags Galaxy Guide 9 Fragments from the Rim, Star Wars source book that was funny as hell and super useful. It was a present from one of my players who sadly died 20 years ago. Well, I'm sorry to hear about your friend, Hish. Those are tough. Those are tough, right? They like look at the book and be like, oh. Stirs up a lot, I'm sure. Yeah, thanks. It's amazing, dude. It is so 80s. Like this thing is crazy. Closed, like student valuables, tobacco use, has drugs in here. The possession or use of controlled substances, e.g., example, marijuana, amphetamines, LSD, barbiturates, cocaine, etc., is a violation of law. Statute 161.41. Like, dude, they hand these things out to kids anymore in schools? This thing's hilarious. Hilarious. I'm laughing at the drug policy of my high school. You better have a copy of the school lunch menu. The best was the spooky October menu. Don't have those. Tiny hexes. Yeah, man. Yeah. Hey, Doc. Good to see you. Quality folder to last that long. Well, that's just the thing, man. It didn't rip or anything. And it was like everything else at that time was like the folders were cardboard. So if you stuff, a book in there or a module, and some sheets of paper, it eventually would just rip and tear. This thing, because it's like plastic, like, I could probably tear this now if I gave it some effort, but yeah, man. Yeah. Character sheets galore have seen, all the yellow ones have seen that folder. All the classic AD&D yellow ones and some of the green ones from Basic. I hold a box of vintage metal minis for WEG Star Wars. My college FLGS was selling them at a deep discount, and I bought them all. The Rancor monster is awesome and heavy. Oh, I bet, Tad. Dude, I'd get that commission, and pay somebody to paint it and put it on a base. As a kid, I had a weird friend who would always throw those old lead minis in his mouth because that's how he screwed lead poisoning made sense to him at 13 years old. That's hilarious. I'm sure today he's just fine. I'm sure there's nothing wrong with him, right? Rub some dirt on it, for God's sakes. Victor, some of those old minis were formable. Once in a while, you'd have to straighten their swords or spears. Yes. Yeah. Because they're like, get all wonky. Yeah. I have a copy of the Mayfair Games version of the City State of the Invincible Overlord. Classic. That belonged to an older cousin of mine with some of his characters and notes. It has sentimental value. Yeah, for sure, Jim. Eileen, good to see you. Morning. Yeah. Some of these things are just top notch, right? I got rid of my second edition AD&D books. It's not a big deal. I still have my first edition AD&D Player's Handbook and DMG, and I think Unearthed Arcana. I think I got rid of my Monster Manual, and then I rebought one because it's not the same that I had. But not everything has that. For me, it doesn't have, a lot of those things don't have my sentimental value. This thing has more, like, it's not even gaming related, and it's like, dude. If I'm going to game, this thing's going with me. It's going to have my character sheets in it, right? And I could read about progress reports, weather announcements, the bell schedule. It has the bell schedule. We would get done at 8th hour. 8 hours, folks. 8th hour at 3:30. First hour would start at 8:07. 49-minute periods. Dude, this thing is... I don't think I've even read half that text in like 44 years. I'm not pretty old. One of my friends has a quote sheet from one of the campaigns I ran. He brings it out now and again to read a few and reminisce. Oh, I can imagine. Can you imagine reading like your 13-year-old DM room descriptions? They're probably not as bad as some of like the narrative components, right? I have most of my AD&D 2E stuff. The PHP fell apart. Yeah. Rules Encyclopedia is still in nearly good shape. I never had the Rules Encyclopedia. I don't think I ever owned it. I got it as a bootleg before you could get it on print on demand. One of the guys that we know from the podcast said, like, we went to Gary County. He's like, well, I got an extra copy here. Just have this one. Another good product was a set of orange dice released for Wild Beyond the Witchlight. They came with a felt-lined cardboard box, both the box and lid. Best dice carrier at Dice Tray ever. Simple, says Saltheart. Master Red Box is at another cousin's house. I think I still have mine. I don't know if I do. Do I? Don't think I have my red box anymore. It's crazy. But this is this thing. What is this thing? You guys ever have this thing? Star Warriors? Like this box, for being as old as it is in immaculate condition. Star Warriors. Never played this thing. I think it's D6 and came with 2 D6 dice. Kind of the weird non-glossy ones. Yeah, I got 5 of them in here. They're very small. Don't think I ever played this thing. Let me see. Yeah. It is essentially, if you were to firing arc, standard game, advanced game, double slip, ship arcs, advanced game, firing arc, facing samples. Like this is the WEG Star Wars miniatures game before they had like, why don't we just cut out little templates? And if you have like a move thing, you could just follow these templates. Hex, all hex. Like this thing is, I don't know. I busted out the chits. But they had a container for them. With a plastic thing you could put over them. And now it has, and then of course, oh, wait a minute. I didn't bust them all out. Although, yeah, this is still, these are all the asteroids. I didn't bust those out. All one sheet. That's the only thing. And then, of course, the big player map. Hex map. Like, I don't know if I've ever unfolded this thing. Yeah. Control sheet. There was a game, not to get off of the role-playing game and into miniatures, but there was a game, Star Trek. It wasn't Starfleet Battles. It was Star Trek, the simulation game. Loved that game. And I don't know if I still have it. What happened over years, my red box could literally be at a friend of mine's house. So I don't know if I ever got rid of it or I lost the box or it fell apart. But sometimes we called it gambling. We'd gamble each other's stuff between us. And we'd always roll 2d20. We played in between. So you'd roll 2d20 and whatever came up, you had the roll of the third die in between the results of the 2d20s. And then if you tied, I don't know if we had to double up or it was a push or what. And so a bunch of us would just put in our modules like, well, let's see. Okay, I got this book. I'll put that in there. And then, well, the other person would put like, well, I'll put that in there. Like, ooh, I want that really bad. And then you try to roll. So what happens is I have many modules and things that I never actually bought, but were friends of mine. Like, hey, Joe, remember this? Like I've had this in my closet all these years. Anyways, yeah, memory lane today. It seems like, right? 49 minutes, period. I'm a teacher. I'd hate to see all my kids every single day. Yeah, different times, man. Jeff, good to see you. I still have my original City State stuff. As soon as I retire, I will have to reread it all. Yeah. Hish, my red hardback folder is, I think, 30 years old, full of AD&D, Star Wars, and Shadowrun character sheets, stats, and notes. Good stuff. I have a few of those felt line dice set boxes, but I think Witchlight is the one I missed. They are great, says Eileen. Hish, Star Warriors. I have played that. Played it maybe twice in my life. Yeah, Hish. Hobbs's favorite is Low Fantasy Gaming Deluxe. Prize possession. The Grodzicki fan guy. Victor, I picked up a clean copy of Rules Cyclopedia, but that version just had too many rules. When I played old D&D, I preferred just the 2 BX books. Sean, seems like you need to try Star Warriors out and see what it is like. I don't know. I'm jealous. Don't be jealous. Don't be jealous of my boogie, as RuPaul would say. I actually had... It's Cardboard Fantasy Flight X-Wing. It totally is, I think. It could be goofy, too. Like, I had an SSI, which is probably still down there. Hold on. Thought I had an not SSI, SPI, like F-15 combat fighter game. I don't know where they are. What did I do with some of these? And some of those are really complex games. Like, so I think I just kind of put that off because maybe it's just too complex to deal with. But Star Trek, the combat simulator game, my buddy Dustin and I would play it. Prenzlau, he used to come into the chat every once in a while. And it was fun because you got these sheets and you'd pick out a ship. So it was like, okay, I'm going to play the Klingons. I'm going to play 2 D7 battle cruisers again, like 1 D7 battle cruiser. And I picked like a Reliant or Enterprise class. And you had kind of like it's not an 8.5. It was kind of an extended, I don't know, 11 by 17 or something like that. And it would have different, like we would put them, no, 8.5 by 11. I don't remember. Anyways, we'd laminate them so we could reuse them, or we'd put them in protectors. And what you had to do is allocate power points from the engines to the different systems. And then we played with miniatures. And at that time, they had cool miniatures out for all the Star Trek ships that weren't plastic. They were metal. We put them on a big, hex map and play that game. And you would have fire or not fire. You have a little token, and you'd put it down. And that'll get first phase. You'd flip them over, and whoever had fire would go first or go last. I don't remember, but that was a fun game because it would be like, okay, that's done. Now we have to redo our thing again. Okay, you ready? Yep. And then we go through it again. Anyways, Star Trek Combat Simulator. I wish I was better about taking care of my stuff when I was a kid. I have so much RPG stuff I'd be constantly telling myself to get rid of, but not be able to. Yeah. Jeff says Grumpy Corn. Jeff, I've been collecting Rose Estes Choose Your Own Adventure books that she wrote in the early 80s for TSR. Anyone have those as a kid? I did, I think. I don't know if they were roses. I could tell you if by the cover if I had them. I had the blue one with the ice dragon, I think, on it. Man. Need to run that game off books at Gamehole, Sean? I guess, maybe? I don't know. I think everything's in there. It comes with 6 D6s. I think there's only 6. Maybe I'll run that. I don't know. Maybe. I used the Star Warriors Crab Nebula hex map for FFG's X-Wing some time ago. Nice. Harrigan, Tactical Combat Simulator. Still have it. Yeah, man. Bring it to Gamehole, dude. Starfleet Battles Light. I never played Starfleet Battles, but I remember the little cards of the things, and I just thought Starfleet, and some people were super into it and probably still are, but for whatever reason, it just never clicked with us. But the Star Trek game, that was a whole nother ball game. Maybe it was because it's a little bit more streamlined. I don't know. We played dice in between as a drinking game. Well, that's another version. I guess my third best RPG product after 1 modular screen, 2 box dice carrier, 3 is the 3x4 dry erase grid and hex map. These things get more use than any single RPG book. Isn't that cool? Isn't that nice? Yeah. Air superiority. I think that's the one, Harrigan. This dude kills me. Yeah, I think that's the one, actually. It would have a cool cover, right? F-15 artwork. I don't know what happened to it. I think I got rid of some stuff I should not have. I don't know. Have a great day, everyone. See ya, Shambot. Got to meet a buddy at the comic shop and then off to Forge Midwest. All right, see ya. Mike says one of my most often used RPG products is a fold-up whiteboard that I have used for various reasons in every game I have run or played. Got it at a Gen Con many moons ago. I think I've seen that. If it's similar to the one, it's like a 3x5, and if you fold it all out, it can be pretty big. It's like super convenient. I wonder if that's the same one, Mike. Oh man, good stuff. Good stuff. Still have a few dragon dice around. Jason says, "Don't let souls we don't know about your dragon dice. I want to buy them. Still have air supporting wonderful art, nigh unplayable. I know. I think I started reading it when I was very young and was like, huh? This doesn't sound fun. It's like, just not that guy." All right. Well, let's get it. I appreciate the conversation. Thanks for keeping me busy. Thanks for allowing me to show off some of my stuff and, reminisce, I guess. Let's get into, I'm going to get in some RPG news quick. We'll go through some of the things that's going on. And if you're going to head out, I appreciate it. Stopping by, hit the like if you'd be so inclined. I appreciate it. Helps out. Kickstarter to introduce a tariff tool for USA backers. This I think might have been touched on a little bit, but now it's out there. Apparently, if you are Kickstarter and use BackerKit, this tool will not be available to BackerKit. But it'll tell you. It'll be exclusive to backers with U.S. shipping addresses. There you go. Importantly, take note, BackerKit, the tool only applies to creators using Kickstarter's own pledge manager. Kickstarter aren't idiots. They're not going to have BackerKit use them when they're a competitor. So Kickstarter explained the process. Submit a request. Creators will see a banner in the pledge manager inviting them to contact Kickstarter if they need to apply a tariff surcharge. Add surcharge amounts. Once enrolled, creators will unlock the ability to apply per item surcharges directly in the Kickstarter pledge manager. And then backers will see it clearly. Once approved, the amount will appear as a separate line item on the backers payment page, which I think is important for us to know that, creators aren't just jacking up prices willy-nilly. There's this is why you're paying an exorbitant amount because of this line item. This ensures full transparency around the added cost. There you go. The funds go to you, included in your payout. The funds are yours to be used towards covering unexpected import costs and keeping your fulfillment plan on track. Man, I don't know. This year is just going to all out frickin' suck for some of that stuff. I'm not going to lie. Be a positive force. Well, tariffs, sorry. I just, just can't do it. I just can't do it. So, yeah, there you go. This was interesting. Alliance. So if you followed this comic book distributor, probably some games involved as well. Alliance wins, then quits the Diamond comic purchase. So if you remember correctly, Diamond Comics is in trouble. There were two organizations vying for purchase of it. And they said, okay, you could do it. Then they went over to this and said, here, want to buy it? And they said, sure. And then I think it was Alliance, right, that they did that too. And Alliance was like, hey, wait a minute, hold on a second. We had a deal here. So then they sued them. We were the first ones. We agreed on this. So it looked like Alliance Entertainment had won. Then Diamond said it was selling itself to Ad Populum, which is AKA Nika and WizKids. So Alliance filed legal papers to stop the sale from happening, right? Alliance won the case. Hey, we won. Yay. See? With the judge siding with Alliance. Yep, that's right. Yeah, you guys had a deal, so we got to keep that up. Well, now Alliance is pulling out. And they say it's probably due to the tariff situation. So Ad Populum has the official backup bidder status, which they do, and may now win the auction because of this. An ad populous Canadian, not American, but it will face the same problems as Alliance Entertainment in getting board games and other materials made in China to the U.S. So it was like basically Alliance was like, well, you know what? We don't really want it now. It's kind of cool. You guys, I mean, no, it's all right. Cool, Judge. No, I mean, we wanted it before, but not now. So I thought that was interesting. Oh, too funny. Anyways. Yeah, good times. And then lastly, for RPG news, Polygon layoffs at Polygon. So if you read Polygon, major gaming news outlet, what seems to be a recurring story these days over at EN World, they feature this. Yet another gaming news outlet has hit rocky times. 2023, IO9 Gizmodo shuttered its tabletop gaming coverage. Comicbook.com followed suit last year, as did Dicebreaker. Like, crumble. The latest in this list is Polygon, a site which, amongst many other things, covered a wide array of tabletop gaming news stories. Polygon was acquired by the Valnet Group, which owns outlets like Game Rant, Comic Book Resources, and others. The Polygon founder, Chris Plante, posted on Blue Sky, "I'm no longer with Polygon. If you're hiring, please consider the many talented writers and editors now on the market. Every one of them deserves a spot on your staff." So there you go. Best of luck to the folks that had contributed to Polygon. So that's news. Let's get into... I don't have anything for bundles. Let's get into print, right? So new print. Things new in print. And for that, I go over to EN World for them to do the legwork. So thanks, EN World. Go over there. Check them out. Wide range of tabletop RPG supplements, like the first one, unconfirmed contact reports and another bug hunt for Tuesday night games and Mothership. These are $20 each. That's out in print currently. Playthings by Space Penguin Inc. for Liminal Horror, $15. PC investigators wake to find themselves unknowingly trapped inside a demi-plane of plastic, a world which caters not to them but to the needs and entertainment of another. Childlike solutions and logic rule the day. Ooh, you're a toy store. It's a Toy Story adventure. It's not liminal. Next one, Macbeth and the Frozen Beacon by Critical Kit for D&D 2024 edition. Still using 2024 edition. Okay, I guess it's going to stick. Macbeth is a murder mystery adventure. And the Frozen Beacon has, for centuries, remained dormant. The beacon has now been lit, standing on the border of the frozen waste. The village of Oxdrift, isolated by heavy snowfall and beset by sub-zero temperatures, is in danger of being abandoned. The next one, Quarter Shots, Book 2, Layers and Labyrinths, for 2024 edition of D&D by Deck Dice Games. And then some of you might have been waiting for this a while. Pendragon's Game Master Handbook is now available. And regular edition and the leatherette limited edition, special edition game. Anybody getting in on the Game Master's Handbook for Pendragon? Heard it's pretty decent. And then the last one, Delphi Missions. No, it's not the last one. Delphi Missions, Pan-Pacifica, Kanawa Operations, Pan-Pacifica Jam Pack, all the stuff for Torg Eternity, which I've never played. So if you're a Torg Eternity, interesting cover choices. They remind me of some of the Paizo stuff that they put the scene, and then there's a character on the right side. I wonder who's doing the layout over there. And then the last one, Giant Book of Shadowscar Battle Maps by Loki Battle Maps for Shadowscar. Because you can't use these battle maps for anything else. It's got to be for Shadowscar. So there you go. It's a spiral-bound, lay-flat book of battle maps. There you go. I haven't been putting these in the chat. I apologize. There's the one for that. There's the tariffs one. There's the alliance one. Not to be confused with Torgo. True, indeed. So that is for print. Let's get into that one. crowdfunding news. What's being crowdfunded? Ian World again. These are usually ones in the last few days, the last throes of the campaign, if you will. Cairo Otherscape, the mythic cyberpunk RPG from Son of Oak Game Studio. This thing is PBTA, it's a City of Mist Otherscape variant. Source books. Most popular pledge is $129. Things at $245,000. Good on them. Woo-wee. Next one, Singularity, Traveler RPG. Traveler. Still going, man. The Singularity campaign by Mongoose Publishing. 170 quid for this. It's at 122,000. That's the most popular pledge anyway. It's at 122,000. Big, huge, done campaign, or going to be done. Next one's Svyland. Lost Lands of Orfall and Nordic Adventure. 5e for 5e plus from Dream Realm Storytellers. So 5th edition, D&D, 5th edition in 2024 apparently. $73,000 raised. One of the coolest options with third-party products from 5e is when the publisher really supports their products. There you go. Next one, Tattoo Arcanima. 5th edition, funded. Not too many 5th edition crowdfunding campaigns fail on this thing, I gotta say. That's always been a theme. Next one, Midnight Muscadine. The Cozy Dark TTRPG of Magical Jams from Pandion Games. Original core book. The idea of this cozy dark RPG is intriguing. Magic is fading, and the last bits must go gather and preserved in jars and jams. Inspired by Studio Ghibli and Sea of Stars, the world is falling to darkness, and only your valley is still illuminated. Interesting. Next one, I Don't Belong Here. Story of my life, man. Modern horror RPG Spark Book. It's an original system from Stations. This line grabbed me. A modern horror RPG Spark Book inspired by the lyrics of Radiohead. Using 3D6 twisted character ideas, horror, and the variety of that band's music, you'll find liminal horror and more in this project. If you're a fan of Radiohead, if you're not, then this might not be for you. And horror RPGs, if you belong here, the Backer Kit campaign is where you want to go. So there you go. There you go. I don't belong here. Dun-dun. Dun-dun. 'Cause I'm a creep. That is Radiohead, right? That's all I have, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. Saturday. Another Saturday in the can. I want to thank all these fine individuals for supporting me here on YouTube's or on Patreon. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you for showing up this fine Saturday live stream. And if you come in after the live stream, thanks for viewing this video, coming up to speed on some of the things that are going on in the hobby and our banter about some of the stuffs. If you have a topic idea, hit me up on the Discord. I think my email is attached to this YouTube channel too. Just saying. If you want a topic of discussion some Saturday to bounce things off of the chat, let me know. I would be interested to hear what you would like to discuss, if you will. I've got a few from folks in the past. I've tallied them up. Brett has submitted one to me. I can't remember what it was. Oh, it had to do with kind of a system matter question. I think I might have on here. I will. Topic: modern game design marries setting and rules. Where is the space for me to run my own world that I've created? Am I required to build my own rules in order for it to be done right? And is this where a toolbox modular rule system like D&D or BRP or GURPS or Fate or others come in? There you go. So I don't know why I put D&D in a GURPS box. I no. Brett, what are you doing? I don't think he's here. He could be lurking. See if I'm talking shit about him. So anyways, thank you so much for being here. I much appreciate it. Go forth and game. And if you need to take a break, take a break. Otherwise, I hope to catch you on the next one, where I'll be here next weekend, Saturday at 8 a.m. right here, Central Time, U.S. So if you're in another part of the world, thanks for taking time in your evening, afternoon, earlier morning hours. Much appreciated. So be a positive force in tabletop RPG hobby, and I'll check you on the next one. Thanks, folks.